Please be seated. Good afternoon, parents, high school administrators, Board of Education members, friends, and especially my fellow classmates. I was going to look up quotes by famous people to begin my speech today, but then I realized that famous people aren't always the heroes who have inspired us to fight for our beliefs or to follow our dreams and aspirations. Often, the heroes that have inspired us consist of teachers, peers, parents, and role models. These are the heroes that have given us the support and encouragement that we need to succeed. The following poem reflects the beliefs and values these role models have given me. Please bear with me as I remind us all of a few simple truths. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. The biggest people with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest people with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for some underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. Give the world the best you have and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you've got anyway. The other day, a friend of mine, a Grizzly football player, told me that he was going to college, and despite not being deemed good enough for a scholarship, walk on and try and make the football team. A few people told him that he was crazy. But remember the line of the poem that says, people favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for some underdogs anyway. By trying out, my friend risks being cut or being on the team. However, he'll never have to wonder if he could have made it. By believing in himself and daring to try, this peer has already proven successful. Day after day, we are told that we are failures. Why give up and prove these people right? No one should ever regret trying. Recall the following from the poem. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. Another peer of ours has spent years improving his abilities in sports. His junior year, he was injured and was told he was never to play sports again. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Through determination and painful rehabilitation, not only did he prove the doctors wrong, but he succeeded not only when he stepped back on the court, but when he decided that he would step back on the court. As a result of his decision to get back into the fight, our classmate ended up being an all-suburban guard on a championship Wadsworth basketball team. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. Ryan Hirschman fought for his life for many years. He accepted the reality of what life had given him. However, he never felt sorry for himself. He gave the world the best he had, and he wouldn't settle for anything less. This poem, in its entirety, exemplifies the person that Ryan Hirschman was. He loved, did good and succeeded, built, was honest and frank, fought, and he definitely gave the world the best he had. Ryan was the greatest of our personal heroes because he knew that he was not going to live the great range of life. All three teach us that we must try, even when others tell us that we will fail. We must try, even when, like Ryan, the game will be over far too soon. As George Gray says in Edgar Lee Masters' Spoon River Anthology, to put meaning into one's life may end in madness, but life without meaning is the torture of restlessness and vague desires. It is a boat longing for the sea and yet afraid. Thank you. Will the senior choir members please come forward?
I'm still smiling. I'm just waiting for someone to find their row, Monica. So. We're all a little nervous today, but good afternoon. I am Mr. Pauly. I'm the high school principal, and it's my official duty to welcome you to the graduating class commencement of 1994. I'd like to thank Mr. Mays and the band members for their fine introduction, and Mrs. Linda McNamara and the senior choir members for that fine song. And special thanks, that was Jessica Hutchison, our senior class president, with the opening address. My first responsibility this afternoon is to introduce our first speaker. This time I'd like to invite Benjamin Franklin Rudlinger to the microphone, please, to join me. Ben. As it says in your program, Ben is our salutatorian at Wadsworth High School this year. The class of 1994 is particularly competitive. There's any one of 10 members in the first two rows that could have had the honor of being on stage. Ben decided long ago that he would strive for excellence with his grades and with his activities, and set many of the curves this last grading period to deserve the honor to speak to you this afternoon. I know without his family and friends that have surrounded him these last 17 or 18 years, it would not be possible for Ben to be up here today. At this time, I'd like to introduce his parents. They're up here in reserved seating, I hope. Mr. and Mrs. Richard Rudlinger, would you please stand? Thank you. I know Ben owes a tremendous amount of his success to his parents and his grandparents and his brother, who is with us today. Ben is going on to Case Western Reserve University. He's receiving almost a complete academic scholarship. So for those youngsters out there, there is still hope to get academic awards and recognitions in your lifetime. He has the unique ability to be an outstanding musician and an outstanding scientist. He's going to double major in music and physics. I don't know what he's going to do someday, but Ben Rudlinger can do just about anything he wants. In remembrance of this day, I have a small token of gratitude to Ben for being such an outstanding student. Someday down the road, when he sits with his grandchildren, he can pull out this medallion and say, "Yes, I was too," the salutatorian at Wadsworth High School. I give you Benjamin Franklin Rudlinger. Ben. They're all yours. I'm going to adjust that.
Today, we conclude 13 years of education. As we were experiencing this, most of us really never contemplated what it all meant. Now, we are at the turning point. Some of us will now go out in the workforce, and the next to college. As we choose the path we are going to take, we should ponder the question, what does education mean to us? Let's start at the beginning. First, we went to elementary school. We were all eager to come to school to see our friends, and we were even all eager to learn. There we learned the basics, like 2 + 2 = 4, and how to read and not to eat paste. The simple thinking and behavioral skills we learned in elementary school transformed us from little monsters into the good boys and girls our parents were proud of. Next, we entered the realm of middle school. We kept learning our math, science, social studies, and English. We also learned how to think a little deeper, how to probe for the answer to more complex questions. We also gained something else from middle school, though, social skills. This was a time of change for our minds and our bodies. We began to think that maybe the members of the opposite sex didn't have cooties, and that maybe we're feeling this way because, well, we got in a fight with our friend or our parents. We tried to learn to understand ourselves a little better. Then we made the big time, high school. We continued learning our math, science, social studies, and English just as before. But we learned something much more important. We learned how to think critically, how to figure things out on our own. Now, we could not only read, but we could understand the message that the author was conveying. We not only learned equations, but we learned how and why they worked. Also, through high school, we gained a great deal of responsibility. We were now being held accountable for our actions. We had to have our work done on time, and we were expected to behave like young men and women. Most of us also used high school as a place to discover our talents, pursuing our talents, whether it be athletic or artistic, to their fullest extent. Our interpersonal relationships also became much more intense. Many of us forged friendships that will last a lifetime. Whether we realized it or not, we were growing up and our education was helping. Finally, some of us move on to the last stage, college. At this point, we have to make several important decisions. What are we going to do for a living? And what does education mean to us? Now, not all people enjoy learning. Some believe that education is merely a tool to achieve a goal. They do not value their education in and of itself. They value what education gives them. For them, education is just the means to obtain the things in life that they really want. These people deal in concrete concepts, such as building edifices and healing people. There is, however, a group of people who are discontented using education as a tool. These people have a passion for thinking. They constantly push the envelope, trying to understand more and more. These people are abstract thinkers, the philosophers, the artists, and the scientists. These people may not have many of the material possessions or the same amount of power, but because their passion is being satisfied, they are happy nonetheless. We are now at a crossroads. We are ending a whole segment of our lives. Many of us are going to start over, leaving everything behind. We as individuals must decide what education means to us. What is important to you? Is education a tool to gain money and power? Or is it a passion that you feel compelled to follow to the very end? Whatever your decision may be, I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope that you all find your own personal happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Talk about nervous. Ben came up to me about 10 minutes before the commencement, and he said, I changed my speech. And I had worked with the boys last week to just kind of keep an eye on them, and I said, Ben, I have complete confidence in you, and I still do. The next young man I'd like to invite up to the microphone is Eric Lynn. Eric? As it says in your program, Eric Lynn is the valedictorian of the graduating class of 1994, but he's a lot more than that. As you can also see in the program, he's our student council president. He's one of the finest leaders that I've ever endured in 24 years of education. Eric is well respected by his class, by his teachers, and by all his administrators. Eric is also going to go on to Case Western Reserve University. At one time he told me he was going to study law or medicine or philosophy or whatever he feels like studying. He's also received almost a complete academic honor scholarship, and I believe his father is with us today. Dr. Hong Lin, would you please stand? Dr. Lin. I'd like Eric's sister to stand. Bonnie Lynn graduated a few years ago, and I know she's been an instrumental part in Eric's life. Eric's mother, May Lynn, passed away a few years ago, and Bonnie is also an honor student at Ohio State University. Bonnie Lynn, would you please stand for us? Eric, I know your parents are proud of you, and your mother's watching over you today, and in remembrance of this fine day, I award you this medallion for valedictorian of the class of 1994, and good luck.
Class of 94, honored guests, friends and family, good afternoon. We are told that when opportunity knocks, to quickly open the door. I imagine that that piece of advice is sufficient given that one has nothing to do but to wait around and listen for knocking on doors. But we have better things to do than to wait for our big break or our next chance. Unless we decide to play the waiting game, it is we who must do the knocking on opportunity's door. For opportunity is encountered more often by those who seek it out than by those who wait for it to present itself. When I speak of knocking on opportunity's door, I speak of being a person of deliberate action and of purpose, to be a person of action instead of reaction, to stop hoping and to start planning, to seek more than just to be taught, but in fact to learn, to forgo bothering with justifying why we cannot, but to focus on how we can, and in plain words, to stop waiting and to start acting. 3 phrases we hear often at graduation are, "You've got so much potential, hold on to your dreams, and good luck." But what do these phrases really mean to us? Mr. Schoonover, my debate coach, said it best when he said, "Potential just means you haven't done it yet." What you can do and what you do are 2 very different things, and it's what you do that makes all the difference. People tell us to hold on to our dreams. Our dreams are like checks, promissory notes written out to ourselves. And like a check uncashed, a dream lying dormant in the back of some mind fails to realize its true value. So don't hold on to your dreams, something that merely represents all your desires. Cash them in for all they're worth, for all your purpose, for all your resolution, and for all your commitment. Many have wished us good luck, but I will not. Not that I wish you all ill fortune, but I do not find luck to be at all appropriate to this occasion of hard-earned accomplishment. Luck has little to do with why you're being graduated here today. It has even less to do with where your life is going. Perhaps luck is for those who are just waiting by their doors for opportunity to knock. By stepping up to knock on opportunity's door, you won't really need that hopeful facade that we call luck. My mother could not be here today, but she had once told me, "Don't just make the most of your opportunities, make your opportunities." Doers will accomplish, and those who wait will wait for the rest of their lives. Class of 1994, the checks of our dreams are written out, paid to the order of our aspirations, our hopes, ourselves. The time has come to cash them with our efforts and our resolve. And to cash them, we need to see our banker, opportunity. With our dreams written out in our hands, it is time to see the banker. It is time to knock on opportunity's door. My congratulations to you all for all your accomplishments. Thank you very much. I will now read the senior poem, which are actually the lyrics to a song called "The Circle Game." Yesterday, a child came out to wonder, caught a dragonfly in a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful of a falling star. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like, "when you're older," must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on this carousel of time. We can't return. We can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. They tell him, "Take your time. It won't be long now till you drag your feet to slow the circles down." and the seasons they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on this carousel of time. We can't return. We can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty, before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We are captive on this carousel of time, for we cannot return. We can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game.
I'd like to introduce our foreign exchange students who are with us this year. Our first one is Miriam Kunkler. She comes from Germany. She's living with John and Sandy McIlvain, and she is sponsored by the Youth for Understanding program. Our second exchange student is Julia Melnikova. She is from Russia. She's living with the Buckby family, and she is sponsored by the Freedom Support Act. Annie Ramu is from Switzerland. She is living with the Working family, and she is sponsored by Youth for Understanding. Lena Siljuholtet is from Norway. She is living with Dr. and Mrs. Guthrie, and she is sponsored by Rotary International. Our next exchange student is Michelle Scarry. She is from Australia. She was living with the Schilling family and sponsored by Educational Foundation of Foreign Studies, but she had to leave for Australia on Friday. And our last exchange student is Ivo van Spransen. He is from Holland, living with Edward and Carol Alfred, and is sponsored by Youth for Understanding.
Thank you again, Jessica. I think that's probably the hardest job to do is introduce the foreign exchange students. Some of you might wonder, foreign exchange students, what's their purpose and why they come to the United States and how we accept them. Some of you can see our honor students, and they get almost all A's and B's while they're here. At Wadsworth High School, we feel it's an honor and a privilege to sponsor these students. We're happy that the families are able to allow them to come and enjoy this social exchange. I think it's good for them. It's good for our students to learn the different cultures of the world. And I also think it's probably one of the pluses in world peace today is allow these students to understand where we come from as Americans and where they come from as foreigners. They've been a delight. They're smiling and laughing right now because we've had a lot of fun together, and I wish them well, and come back and visit us someday. Thank you. It's also my privilege today to recognize and honor the 50th anniversary of the graduating class of 1944. In case you've missed them, they're sitting over here to my right. I was privileged to visit them last night at the Ramada Inn banquet room, and I did get a call from the Wadsworth Police Department early this morning. I wanted to know if they were affiliated with my duties, that they were having a pretty good party up there, and I said no, they could do whatever they needed to do to calm down the party last night. But I especially want to thank Gene Everhart for staying in touch with me these last few weeks, and I did get to meet a lot of them, and there are some very unique ties today with the class of 1944 and the class of 1994. I have a whole list here. I hope I don't miss anybody. They threw some cards in my hand as I came up. A lot of you folks in town know Mr. Bob Miley. Bob Miley and his wife Edith from the class of 44. Are you with us today? Would you please stand up? Okay. And their great niece is in our graduating class of 1994. That's Stephanie Sonnenstein. Stephanie, please stand. Thank you. Did Faye Cole make it today? Faye, would you please stand? Faye Cole graduated in 1944. And her granddaughter is going to graduate today, Mandy Gilmore. Mandy, would you please stand? Is Elve McElroy, did she make it today? Elve, she didn't make it. I hope Dan is here. Dan Razor. Dan, are you here? Dan, please stand. Dan is the nephew of Elve. I wasn't sure if she was going to make it today, but that is his aunt. Tangi Parsons just flew back in from Texas. Tangi, are you here, class of 1994? Her great-grandfather graduated in the class of 1944. He just passed away a few years ago, but like a nice hand for Mr. Joe Recupero. Let's see, grandmother, Loretta Fulton Whelan. Loretta, did you still with us? Would you please stand? Is she up there? Okay. And her grandson is graduating today. Probably the best transfer Coach Goddard has seen in years. Is Mike Whelan out there today? Mike, would you please stand? Michael? Michael was a great baseball player that moved in this year, and it was nice to have him and grandmother back in town. We have two other young ladies that are graduating the class of 94, and is their grandmother here today? I think it's Mary White Beeler. Is Mary White here, please? And her granddaughters from the class of 94, that would be Tammy and Dawn Yarborough. Tammy and Dawn, would you please stand? Now, this next young man is an interesting character. He's been harassing me all week. I'll tell you, he's a character. These guys partied so hard last night. Perry said he'd help me out any way he could today. And let's see, is it Perry? Perry Miller, did you make it this morning or were you out? Perry, please stand up. Perry graduated in the class of 1944, and his granddaughter is graduating today, Gail Burns. Gail, you're right up here in the front. Gail Burns, thank you. A little bit about the class of 1944, besides what I learned about them last night, and I swore complete confidence that I would not squeal on them. As most of you know, the class of 1944 is recognized as the D-Day invasion class. Almost all these young men, and I want you guys to hear this out here, almost every one of these gentlemen out here, right after they graduated, they took off and finished up World War II. Most of them left Wadsworth immediately. 12 of them graduated early and took off to get into the war even before their graduation. There was approximately 54 of them at the barbecue the other day, and something about their commencement graduation. Their graduation was on May 26, 1944. The school colors back then, or class colors, were considered to be blue and white. They also had the red rose, and their motto is, "The future is ours." One of the unique features about the class of 1944 is they also had the first young lady as class president, and her name was Nan Semester. I don't believe, is Nan here today? Did she make it? No, Nan did not, but I thought that was a tribute to our senior class president Jessica Hutchison. Many of them were married right after the war, and I know a lot of them are still married today. There was approximately 100 of them last night at the banquet, and their letters of condolences written back from other family members. It's kind of interesting. Most of them are still located in Ohio. Some of them come in as far away as California. But I would like to recognize and ask all the members of the class, the graduating class of 1944, to please stand and accept our applause today. Please stand. We thank you for not only building a fine tradition at Wadsworth High School, but we also thank you for winning that war for us so that we all may be safe today. I know a lot of them have to leave early today. I told them that they would be excused early. I wouldn't hold anybody back today if they had to catch a flight or catch a plane. It's been a great weekend for them. As principal of Wadsworth High School, I've had the opportunity to be with this young group in front of me for the last 4 years. They say I don't smile very much, but I take my job very seriously. I'm very privileged to tell you a little bit about the graduating class of 1994. As you recognize in the program, the first few rows are our honor students, and as I mentioned before, any one of those students could have been represented up here on the stage today. They are very competitive, they are very academically oriented, but they also have awards that go beyond their academics. Our band had won the national competition at the regionals this last fall. The National Merit Finalists, which if you don't know are the top students in the United States, we had about 5 or 6 National Merit commended students. The choir performs all over Ohio with their fine singing quartets. Our art seniors, and if you look at that program today, I'd like to recognize Tennille Nelson for designing and organizing the program today. She's going to receive a scholarship for artistic ability. In sports, they were champions. They won the cross-country championship. The golfers almost went to the regionals. The cross-country team again won their championship. The football team won the championship. The basketball teams won both their championships. The wrestlers went to state this year. They also won their championships. It's a class of champions that I look out there today. Eric says, you know, you make your own luck. I wish you luck and I wish you Godspeed as you go out there. We have students that will be appointed to West Point after they graduate and will be the leaders of tomorrow. I thank all of you for being such a fine class, and I want to give you my bit of advice today. No corny messages about the weather from Mr. Paulia, no tornado warnings, no 95 degrees. I know it's hot out there, but as your principal, I learned one thing in my lifetime that has meant an awful lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to your parents and your grandparents. To be successful, I think you have to have a good education. I think you have to have a skill. I think you have to have a desire to learn. But I've learned in my lifetime that the most important thing that will determine your success, or I think at least 90% of your success, won't be that job, won't be winning that lottery last night that I don't think any of us won. It'll be the person that you decide to live with the rest of your life. Your spouse, your mate, your husband, your wife. Look around at the class of 44. Some of them have been married for 50 years. I challenge you to find that person in your life. Take your time when you find that person. Study it like you studied here at Wadsworth High School. If they drive a fast Camaro, young ladies, it doesn't mean anything. If they got long, dark, wavy hair, it'll soon disappear. And you guys, you better learn how to sew and cook. The girls of 1994 aren't going to wait in the kitchen for you. And young ladies, I would expect you to have them make a good meal for you and not take you out to dinner. You better find out if they like kids if you want to have a family. You better understand if they want you to work or stay home in the kitchen. It's not the car they drive. It's not how they look. It's what's in their heart that you should look for. I don't lecture you very long and very hard on too many things. I've scolded you. I've cheered for you. But I hope you're listening today. Some of you out here have already made one mistake. You know who I mean. Some of you have gone through this marriage and this divorce already. It's a very difficult process. Study that person. Take them home. Meet their parents. Meet their father. My wife's not here again today because she hollered at me and says, "You're just like your father." and he's bald. So girls, meet the fathers. Guys, meet their moms and dads. Take your time. It took you 4 years to get out of Wadsworth High School. Spend 4 years in engagement with that person before you run off with them. Yes, I know you can marry your high school sweetheart and you can be happy for 50 years. That's great. I hope that works for you. But if not, study. Study and be careful before you make that commitment of I do's. You can I do a job any place you want. You can change jobs 100 times. But when you start a relationship and you bring kids into the world, that's a lifetime commitment. Take that commitment seriously. Select that person with special care and with God's blessings. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce a good friend of mine and my boss, Mr. Charles Parsons. Would you please come to the mic? Mr. Parsons, it's with my knowledge and respect that I present to you the graduating class of 1994. I can assure you that these candidates have all met the requirements of the state of Ohio and the Wadsworth School Board, and every one of them has passed the state proficiency test this past year. I present to you, to receive their diplomas, the class of 1994. They're all yours.
Jessica, thank you for the beautiful words about heroes. Class of 1994, I know that each of you has a hero, hopefully two, and they're seated here today. I would ask that you take just a moment, look into the stands to where your parents are, and please give them a warm applause for all of their love and support. One of the pleasures of accepting the class of 1994 and being the superintendent in a relatively small school district is that I have the privilege of getting to know many of the students who will be receiving their diplomas. As Ben delivered his speech, I still remember the very ugly potholder that my wife bought from him when he was about 4 years old. She will not throw it away, and she has told me that she will keep it for a lifetime because it reminds her of Ben. And Eric, I have not had the pleasure of spending much time with you, but every time I've said hello to you, you have had a smile for me, and I appreciate that. Certainly I cannot name all of the graduates in this class, but I do say to you from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being great students, for making your community proud, and I wish you the best success throughout your lives. So it is with pride that this afternoon I accept you on behalf of the Board of Education as the graduating class of 1994. Please prepare to graduate. Thank you.
Could I slide it over? You ready?
We are ready. First graduate is Eric Lynn. Benjamin Franklin Rudlinger. Jessica L. Hutchinson. Cynthia Marie Ash. Monica Jean Bees. Albert D. Bellamy. Kevin D. Burden. Christine Yvonne Brazel. Shelley Marie Brown. Jeffrey John Delacroix. Natalie Mackenzie Dixon. Brian D. Digman. Brad W. Ferguson. Todd David Ferguson. Tara Ann Four. Sean M. Freeman. Tiffany L. Gosser. George Stephen George. Ann Elizabeth Hartman. Laura Elaine Heckel. Bethany Dawn Henderson. Heath Edward Hill. Brooke Aaron Hahn. Joette A. Hugel. Michael C. Kali Jr. Bradley Richard Lexon. Melissa George Lenos. Alexia Lishnevsky. James R. McComas. Christy Annette Mooring. Rebecca G. Mullaney. Brian Christopher Peebles. Dawn Marie Powers. Anne Gwendolyn Rook. Heather Ann Rule. Jamie J. Sheehan. Bert Anderson Smith III. Ryan R. Smith. Stephanie Lynn Sonnenstein. James Stedman. Renee Kathleen Stuldrer. Jennifer A. Trenta. Mira Vukalik. Miriam Kunkler. Julia Melnikova. Annie Ramu. Lena Silju-Holtet. Paul Ivo van Spronsen. Christopher Michael Abrams. Scott C. Aker. Joseph Amers. Andrew Floyd Albright. Aaron Allen Anderson. Michael Anthony Antro. Jason Howard Armstead. Roy W. Armstead. Tiffany Jo Ash. Kevin William Barker. Catherine I. Bauer. Amanda Lee Bauman. Nicole Marie Berlin. Kelly Lynn Birchie. Angela K. Blau. Lisa Ann Boluman.
That's your brother?
Chad J. Boyan.
You have cheers in the crowd also.
Eric Boyette.
Congratulations, Eric. Smile.
Jennifer Elizabeth Brannon. Joseph Anthony Brannon.
Congratulations.
Steve C. Brown. Danielle T. Burkhart. Gail Lynn Burns. Bob J. Butzer. Joseph Carter. Christy Marie Cassesi. Jennifer Jean Cefalo. Dina R. Chaconis. Susan M. Cyndia. Christopher E. Clark. Dan J. Conley. Jason Michael Connell. Blossom Renee Conover. Sarah R. Cordes. Cheryl A. Corp. Christine A. Corpening. Melissa Ann Couch. Chris L. Craig. Lori Ann Crislip. Laura L. Croft. Mark Robert Crow. Deborah Lynn Danco. Cynthia Lynn Davis. Richard J. Davis. Tanya Davis.
Congratulations.
Corey W. DeLong. Sean Dennison. Chuck Doyle.
They're happy for you.
Robin Lee Dunkel.
Congratulations, Robin. Good luck.
Edward Joseph Ebling.
You're smiling good here. Congratulations.
Leah Michelle Eds.
Congratulations, Leah. Good luck.
Denise Ann Elitich.
Good luck.
Gwen Elizabeth Ely. Anthony L. Enia. Jesse Caleb Fatkins. Russell James Felix. Kristen Kathleen Ferguson. Melissa Lee Fyrus. Cassandra L. Pfister. Stephanie I. Fortner. Jesse D. Foy. Tracy Ann Fraze. Michelle Jane Fullerton. Jerry Michael Gale. Christine Ann Garner. Amanda Lee Gilmore. Stephen James Greckney. Christy Michelle Gross. Donald Grote.
Timothy R. Haig. Michael John Haller. James Halstead. Ross Hanson. James Matthew Haprian. Amy Lynn Hartman. Diana Sue House. Rachel Christine Hayward. Todd Anthony Heckel. Melanie Ann Hirschman. Sarah Joy Hilton. Lori Lynn Hofstetter. Sarah Elizabeth Horaceberger. Joseph H. Horvat. Jonathan Hutchins. Tony Izev. James B. Johnson. Amanda J. Jones. Jason Joy. Erin Elizabeth Kaiser. James Ryan Keck. Jonathan T. Kellish. Jason David Keller. Stephen F. Kendall. Corey J. Kepner. Desiree Kearns. Holly A. Kaiser. Angela D. Kimmel. Carl G. Kish Jr. Peter John Clausen. Jason Arthur Knapp. Abraham Joseph Covine. David William Kramer. Michael Patrick Levitt. Aaron David Link. Thomas Charles Lloyd. Michael Allen Locke. Matthew D. Lohr. Brett A. Lukowski. Kelly Lynn Lukowski. Dawn Marie Lyons. Audra Joe Mack. Brian Joseph Madigan. John B. Magyar. Frederick E. Mayball III. Melissa Marie Manful. Karen Lynn Matter. Michael A. Mattingly. Matthew Scott Maurer. Thomas R. Maxwell. Jason Edward Mays. Carrie Ann McCleister. Kyle Benjamin McDevitt. Brenton Joseph McGarry. Aaron Lee McGeorge. Mark Jason McGrath. Craig Allen McNamara. Jennifer Lynn Michalski. Adam Michael Miller. Amy Miller. Kevin T. Montgomery. John Richard Mosier. Michael Scott Mosier. Stacy Lynn Mosier. Jeremy S. Mall. Jamie Mullins. Joey Mullins. Leanne Marie Mumal. Kurt E. Murray.
Scott Matthew Nagy. David M. Nowert. Matthew Aaron Neal. Tennille Don Nelson. Eric Christopher Norman. Sean William Opplinger. Joshua Lee Ott. Kelly Joe Palmer. Audra L. Moser Parsons. Tangi Marie Parsons. Rebecca C. Pfeiffer. Joseph John Pladdock III. Tamara Lynn Plez. Danielle Marie Poling. Mandy M. Post. H. Fred Prager. William H. Price. Amy Rochelle Reardon. Daniel Scott Razor. Mark Ryan Rockhorst. Margaret Marie Regan. Nicole Marie Reeder. Christopher R. Riggs. Daniel Jonathan Ritter. Scott D. Roberts. Michael Shane Robinson. Cheyenne Lynn Rogers. Christopher R. Rogers. Melinda K. Rogo. Jeffrey A. Rohr. Janine K. Rudder. Joseph E. Saunders. Aaron M. Schaffer. I'm sorry. Lisa Don Salogi. Kristen J. Syriac. Heather Renee Schaefer. Brian Shaw. Tammy Lynn Shaw. Brandy K. Shelton. Angel Renee Simon. Serena K. Singleton. Georgia Ann Small. Gail Ann Smith. Mary Beth Snyder. Tammy J. Spinder. Tanya Lynn Spittler. Kelly Christine Stoffer. Gregory L. Steele. Melinda Louise Steineman. Tammy Marie Steineman. Daniel B. Steiner. Jesse Troy Stringfield. Laura Lee Stead. Amy B. Swain. Eric Matthew Swaino. Adam Kenneth Swinehart. Paul Michael Sidorenko. Dwayne Tanner. Jonna Marie White Taylor. David Ward Tinney. Jeremy M. Thomas. John Andrew Sempiris. Bernard Franklin Trumblack. Kelly Renee Vogelsong. Shannon Lee Washburn. Robert John Watterson. Michael D. Whelan. Nicole Marie White. Alicia Ray Wilhite. Aaron Michael Williams. Brandy Joe Williams. Jennifer Marie Williams. Jerry Lewis Williamson. Michael David Wilson II. Michelle Dawn Wilson. Christine Marie Brainerd Windish. Andrew John Roble. Dawn Eileen Yarborough Bartram. Tammy Ray Yarborough. Laura K. Young. Dina Sue Zimmerman.
We do ask you to remain in the auditorium until the class of 1994 has left. Jessica, please.
Please rise. Congratulations, class of 1994.